Hi guys. I was thinking I was gonna show you a little bit about a project I've been working on. I will title this "Can you sand Can you sand TPU?" Because at the end of the day, that's what this will more or less be all about. Can you use sandpaper on TPU to make it look good? Sorry about the camera. It's a little bit. Let me see if I can adjust it a bit. Maybe there a bit. Yeah. So can you use sandpaper on TPU? Because a lot of people might be wondering how will I make my TPU glossy. My project has been that my little girl um, is going to get my wife's old Samsung 7. This is barely used. Well, actually, it wasn't. It was run over by a car, so we had the whole thing replaced. So basically, it was only the inside that's intact. But anyway, the phone is nice. It works, and our daughter is 3 years old, and I don't want her to ruin this. But at the same time, I want her to have a nice way of holding it with her small hands. So I came up with the idea of making a cover. So that's what you can see here. It's my version of a Samsung S7 cover. And I wanted to print it in TPU, but I also want her to have buttons accessibility. So we have the plus power, and we have the volume down power, and then we also have the power button. And you can see from the design I made that there there has been a lot of work in this. Now, how would I join this together? Now, that was the big question all along. I was thinking of making like a thin layer of TPU and just melt it and quickly put it together, but I gave up on that because TPU is hard to fit very fast because it hardens so fast, and when you heat it, you would also most likely destroy both surfaces. So my idea here was that I would use uh, like a ring. You can see here I use a ring. Let's see if I can put a different color on that. Let's see if I can put the color on that. I can just make it orange like that, so you can easier see it. And I use that ring to make an intersection into the case. And I was gonna use let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I don't blue. Yeah, this is it's not the same version, but it looks a bit like this one. This is a 3D pen, and I made like a spatula for this. I can show you here. So I was thinking of just using this, let me see, blade holder to the locking pin. So the spatula looks like this, and then you have a metal blade, and basically it will attach with a clip-on, and the idea is good. Then I could just exert 3D filament from the 3D pen while you just drag the spatula along. And I tried doing this with a test. This is this is like the test I did, but it didn't work out so well. So I ended up, hang on. I ended up with a design where I just use, as you can see in the here you see like small holes. I just made small infill holes so that when you see if I can show it to you. intersection analysis. Let me see there. You can see here. So you get these small holes. My idea was that the filament will fill into these gaps when I'm sort of extruding the pen, and the result would be something like this. It's hard to see. Now, once the TPU is set, it is kind of hard to sand it down. So I wanted to be able to do that easier. So this is the sander. So at first I just tried to sand it down. So I made a let me see, where is it? Just hide that for now. And yeah, so I made a sander tool designed to fit and hold sandpaper like this, and I can just insert the sandpaper in between here and you can sand, and that is actually working very well. But I found it was a lot to sand, so what I did was I made a different, using that same sort of type of model, I made I call it a trimmer, where you have a blade that goes into this and it's locked in place with this this locking pin, and then I can basically use that. Let's see if I can have it. There it is. I can use that to basically scrape along. See if you can see that on the camera. Scrape along and remove excess filament. And that actually works very well. Now, in addition, you would need to sand it, so I use 80 sandpaper, and then I use 120 sandpaper, and then I use a heat gun. See if I can see it. Sorry about the picture, it's kind of hard to show. The camera is not so good. I will show a video afterwards where I just in clip where I have taken a proper video with the camera. So and what you get then is a pretty smooth surface. See if I can show it just on this angle. And basically that is a pretty okay way of merging two parts of TPU, basically using a 3D pen and doing it like that. And I can just show you. And at first I was thinking of making the insertion on the side, but once I made it I found that it was really hard. So I ended up where you just you tilt it and then you can just insert it. So that is the phone, and my kid can basically hold the phone like this when you're on the airplane or whatever. So this is a very cool project for me. Yeah. I was thinking of selling this case as well. I don't know if anyone has an S7 anymore, but I can probably customize this for newer models. It's not that hard. Well, it would require a lot of work, but yeah. I don't think this cover would be like a $5 cover, because it's the work and the filament and sanding and all that work. But yeah, I'll show you the clip now of me sort of removing the filament, cutting and sanding and using a heat gun. Okay, so I apologize for the picture quality. I am having one of my old phones on a stand. Let's see if I can. So this is the thingy. I'll try and see if I can get a good zoom. So this works almost like a trimmer or a scalpel. And you can see that when I use it, This is the seam after I use the 3D pen. So you can zoom it a bit. So the idea is then that you go in with this, you get a good start on one side, this is now made so it only fits this 3D cover, because you can see that it is made to fit the cover. So as you get deeper, you need to be careful. As a thumb rule, I need to get a, sorry for the camera, guys. See, this saves a lot of time and sanding. So you can see here, maybe I went a little bit too far down there, but I think I can sand that to compensate. I tried using a knife for this, but that was almost impossible, strictly because you don't have anything to stop the knife from going down. And like here, it's a bit easier now because I'm sort of on the, once you get down you can just rest the thingy and it's easier, well, easier and easier. You still need to be careful. So step by step, go down with such a tool. The blade is like a hobby blade. You can buy it in hobby stores. This one is straight, but there are many shapes and sizes. So yeah, you get the idea. So see, it's kind of, trying to zoom in a bit, see. So once you got that done to a certain level where it's more or less straight, then you get to this point. And then I can use the sander. I only have a fine one on now, so this is the sander. You can see it's locking in place with the thingy. And you have the pin on the top. And then you just sand. Now I'm using a very fine one, so you don't see it so well, but yeah. So once you're down, this is where I've used a little bit of the heat gun. Depending on how perfectionist you are, you can just, you know, I use the brush just to remove all the like pieces of sand from the sandpaper, and then you can just use a heat gun and you gently, like, I use 250 degrees, like just waving it over like this until it started melting. And then all the small pieces of grains of filament will sort of fill in the gaps, and you get a pretty nice smooth surface like this. And yeah, it is I forgot to say, but in the middle you can see here where the button is. That's like the joint. I used super glue, and I have like what do you call it, when you 3D print something on both sides, you put like pins so it fits. And so I super glued it first, and then I went over and I used the 3D pen to fill in all the gaps. I tried to fill in as well as I could. So my goal is to just clean up this thing and heat gun it, and voila, my baby girl has a nice cover to use when you're on vacation. And it's flexible, durable, and it will not break. So can you sand TPU? Yes, you can sand TPU, but it takes a lot more time and work than PLA, for instance. You can see here is a good place, and then you can see it turns into where I use the heat gun. So start with a rough sandpaper, and when you sort of only barely can see it, like here, you can use a fine one, and then you can use it. So depending on what you're making, you can sand TPU. Don't use a Dremel or something like that, because the speed will basically make it heat up too fast, and you can get like joints here. So if you can, make yourself a tool like this. I use Fusion 360 to make this, and it's easy because like in this case I made like a pin, so if I want to open it, you can just open it there, I can pull it out, and you can replace the sandpaper. So that is nice. And if you also can, make yourself a tool like this, not like that one, like this, which you can use to remove TPU only for the areas that you want. In this case, you can see I made it so it would fit the thingy and get only down, so the edge of the blade is actually just above where the bottom of the TPU is, so it shouldn't really cut off. But yeah, so that is basically it for this video. Can you sand TPU? Yes. Can it look nice? Depends on how much work you put into it, but yes, it's also possible. So hope you like this video, and please like and subscribe if you like it, and watch me in the next one. Thanks.